theme today is the need for a new era for social justice. This is, of course, a response to the Director General's report to the conference of the same name. The report sets out, in a sense, the issues that economic growth and economic crisis have presented us with and presented the labour force with. And what I'd like to begin by asking each of you is whether you agree with the main assessment in the report that the model of growth and development that has essentially dominated economic thinking in the last 30 years is a primary cause of the imbalances that we're now experiencing and that, in a sense, led to the economic crisis.
A mi modo de ver, la política social. En la política social debe tener un rol central la creación de empleos. Y que no existe ninguna otra respuesta mejor para mejorar las condiciones de vida de la población y elevar su bienestar. No tengo duda que la política social es importante y el empleo, pero que nada es mejor para que alguien salga de la pobreza efectivamente que conseguir un puesto de trabajo, por modesto que sea.
People thought that it should be the public sector that should create the jobs for the generality of workers. The private sector wasn't given a chance. With time, however, we are coming to see and appreciate that without a vibrant private sector, you don't talk of creation of jobs much. In any case, if you come to Ghana, we tend to think that what is public job is nobody's job. So the model that I believe should come into play for our part of the world should be based on the concept that the ILO has been pushing over the past 90 years. Tripartism between government, the private sector, and labor, with these three partners appreciating a common and shared interest. That way, we create the jobs.
We should have a sustained development with, of course, social justice being the outcome. It is the ILO that has the unique, or that is in the unique position of bringing and ensuring that the three legs of comprehensive development that will lead to social justice are brought together. The government, the private sector, and the unions or the workers. And that is what really, I believe, the report is about. That report, or that must be made to happen. Otherwise, nothing will happen.
I think the social context into economic development is very important. And comprehensive development is not just economy. It's economy, it's education, it's housing, it is amenities, it is freedom, it's equality, it is democracy. And I think in the Middle East and also in Yemen, all those deficits are still there in one level or another. But I think the economy of Yemen is one of the poorest economies in the Arab world, and maybe the third or fourth in the whole world. I wouldn't be happy to talk about it.
A large part of Europe, this message is still not forgotten. I mean, we understand completely well that economic growth is one thing, but translation into level of jobs and high quality jobs and decent jobs is as important as the level of growth is. Growth is needed, but we should not be happy just with the note of economic growth. We should think and talk about and discuss about the way in which the revenues of economic growth are translated into the well-being, into the common good. Growing discontent, growing impatience about their lack of of possibilities. When they are well educated or less well educated, they are looking for jobs and they don't get the jobs. And if we don't find answers to that problem, I think they will choose for forms of protests and ways of making of raising their voices, not only in North Africa and the Middle East, but also elsewhere.
Ellos han dicho, es el sector privado el que crea empleos. Estuvimos equivocados cuando pensamos que el sector público era el que creaba empleos. Este es un cambio ideológico bien importante y trascendente que se está produciendo en los países del sur, ¿no? Y que está dando resultados positivos. Primero. Segundo, siempre, y también mis colegas lo sugirieron, se creyó que los bienes industrializados iban a aumentar permanentemente de precio y que los bienes primarios, alimenticios, se estancaban o caían en su valor. Hoy está sucediendo en el mundo algo exactamente contrario. Los bienes industrializados se abaratan relativamente y los productos que nosotros exportamos se encarecen. Esto está produciendo una significativa transferencia de riqueza desde el norte hasta el sur.
I think the youth revolution has many root causes for it. It's not just the economics. The economic is a very important aspect of it, but I think the youth are ambitious to see a full change of the political system. Most Arab countries have built their economies on the public sector, and they have failed significantly. And many of them are still insisting that the public sector should be in the hand of the state, and that will create employment. I think the last 50 years has proved that this is the wrong policy.
We came out of the Civil War, and then the oil became a doom rather than a boom for us, because nobody wanted to do anything, and I said that we were torn between agriculture, industry, and oil. Nobody wanted to do anything except oil. We were thinking oil, we were sleeping oil, we were almost drinking oil. That was as bad as it was. And then we developed this oil mentality. If you are going to fight corruption, it's not a one-night or one-day wonder. You have to be consistent and persistent with it. I haven't seen that will of persistency and consistency in Nigeria, because the people that are involved in corruption, they are strongly entrenched. And unless you are ready to confront them at the point of even giving your life for it, then you will give in. And when you give in, that is the end of it.
Creo que la democracia, entre otros méritos, tiene el efecto virtuoso de combatir la corrupción, porque promueve sociedades transparentes, con una prensa libre, con una justicia independiente, con órganos de control, con imperio de la ley. Aquellos países en que estos valores fundamentales de la democracia se deterioran, inevitablemente al mismo tiempo se produce un empeoramiento de la corrupción. Yo diría que hay una asociación entre dictadura y autoritarismo y corrupción, y entre democracia, libertad y pluralismo y honestidad. De manera que si queremos combatir la corrupción, consolidemos las instituciones democráticas, desarrollemos las instituciones democráticas, fortalezcamos las instituciones democráticas, y la sociedad latinoamericana dejará de ser corrupta como dejó de ser corrupta la sociedad de Estados Unidos y la sociedad europea.
Corruption is a two-way affair. the giver and the taker. Most of the givers are in developed countries. But when we say to them, look, these are your people who have given our people a bribe, who are paid, they don't do what the Americans have done. And I believe that the UN Anti-Corruption Convention should be signed by everybody, and everybody should be held up to it.
A politician, in the proper sense, becomes like a missionary. What to do to enable the society to rise out of, say, underdevelopment, to join the emerging countries, and eventually, perhaps even to compare with the developed world.